Hello, this is Ken Ferry with this week's Boots in the Field report. Wow, locally a lot of work was done this past week based on the reports that are coming in from growers out there. Many growers are able to stick a good portion of their planned early planted beans in the ground. As growers were finishing planting all of their SDS treated beans that they had planned to plant, early, the calls started coming in wondering if they could keep planting their untreated beans since the conditions were so nice. The problem with SDS, the longer your beans are in the ground, the higher the risk of SDS being a problem. The beans planted last week, they may take 3 weeks to get them out of the ground. So it's not the conditions the day we're planting them in the ground, it's the forecast on how long it's going to take them to get out of the ground. You know, if your goal was to get sudden death, you'd look for a window that would keep your beans in the ground for 3 weeks. But won't the gain from early planting out-yield the drag from sudden death? While the gain from early planting can be that 5 to 10 bushel we've seen, man, SDS can turn an 80 bushel crop into a 40 bushel crop in a hurry. Now, if you've never had SDS in the field, that risk is going to be less. If your pest team is doing a good job of scouting for SDS and hasn't documented in the field lately, but it has been an issue in the past, it's still a risk. We've seen SDS in fields after 10 years of corn on corn. So again, there's something to be said to building a plan and then following or sticking to that plan. If you were planning on planting these untreated beans in warmer conditions, stick with that plan. Otherwise, you probably need to go get them treated. Every day we get a few hours above 50 degrees, these beans will continue to develop. But again, it still could be the first week in May before some of these make it out of the ground if this forecast is correct. Now, a lot of growers got their first day willies out of the way with the corn planters. It seems amazing, though. You can spend all the time working on these planters, and then when we get them to the field, what will show up that first day out? A number of you shared your first day willy stories with us. Some of you guys, the first day willies turned into 3 days of nightmares. We had our share of first day willies with our equipment here as well. We kind of had the mother of all issues on one of our tractors, where both the auto steer and the air conditioning quit. Yeah, I know. Grandpa would laugh at us shutting down a planter because of no auto steer or air conditioning. Yeah, but he used to walk uphill 3 miles in a snowstorm to get to school. Where today kids they'll go to unlearning if we have a little bit of snow. So things have changed. Shorty said after 43 years of farming without auto steer, he still remembers how to steer the tractor. But no air conditioning was a deal breaker in last week's temperatures. Thanks to the local dealer's mechanic, we've got Shorty cooled off, and when the parts get here for the auto steer, he won't be burdened with the task of planting straight rows the old-fashioned way, actually steering the tractor. Don't forget these equipment dealers and service guys. They're covering a lot of area and a lot of equipment, so a little patience there would go a long way for them. That's what the yellow light for corn planting is all about, a window where we could get around seed chilling and get these planters tuned in for the big event when the conditions turn. Some of you have suggested I should use a different analogy when it comes to planting, because apparently some of you tend to speed up at yellow lights instead of slow down with caution. Some of the beans planted April 3rd are now emerging, and the corn planted on the 7th and 8th is really close to spiking if it's not already through. The corn and beans planted last week will most likely not emerge until that first week in May, again with this current forecast. The corn planted will still have to deal with the late emerging spike down kernels. Again, with the forecast, we were able to bypass seed chilling. In those warm soils, a spike down plant will usually emerge within 24 hours of a spike up plant, which will not be much of a difference in ear size, if any. But with our current local forecast, the spike down plants could be a week or more behind your spike up plants, and that potentially is going to shrink or abort the ear off of that plant. As growers look at this week, wondering when to start the corn planter back up, if you're trying to stay away from seed chilling, it doesn't look like there will be an opportunity this week. Based on the questions coming in, I think I need to review seed chilling. When the seed takes on water and swells in that first 48 hours that the seed is in the ground, the temperature of the soil water is important. Water temperatures above 50 degrees give the seed cells elasticity, allowing them to stretch as they take on water. When water temperatures are below 50 degrees, the cells lack this elasticity, and instead of swelling, the cells tear. And this is what we call seed chilling. The signs of seed chilling show up in different ways. Sometimes the seed doesn't fire at all. Sometimes it'll throw a root, but no shoot. Sometimes it'll throw a shoot, but no roots. The most common form of chilling farmers see is that corkscrewing of the mesocotyle, and the spike doesn't reach the surface. While seed chilling can happen at 50 degrees, it decreases significantly above 50 degrees. Once the seed is swelled and germination fires off, seed chilling is no longer an issue. Temperatures can drop into the 40s, and all that happens is the plant's going to be slower to emerge. The longer the plant spends in the ground, of course, the higher the risk of seedling diseases and insect damage. Today's seed treatments allow the corn to be in the ground a lot longer than it used to, without seeing seedling or insect issues. The good news about seed chilling and losing the ears to spike down plants is that no one will know but you what effect it has. This is not something you can see in a pickup going down the road at 60 miles per hour. Seed chilling can take out 7 to 10% of the stand. Now, the good thing about seed chilling is it usually kills the plant, and that allows for the neighboring plants to fill in that gap with a bigger ear. Late emerging spike down plants can count for another 7 to 10% of the stand. The plants produce a small or no ear at all when they get that far behind. Now, the industry standard drop from planted population to ear count is around 13%. We're trying to get this down to 6% by tuning that planter and paying attention to planting conditions instead of the calendar. But again, the difference between a 6% drop in ear count and a 25% drop in ear count is not noticeable in a drive-by. This will only be picked up by the pest team that's actually stretching a tape and doing counts. I have to admit, I'm a little concerned by the number of seed samples that are coming back subpar. I've been told in some cases, whole lots have been discarded due to germ issues. The question has come in from more than one grower. If I'm going to push planting conditions with marginal seed quality, should I increase the population, or should I plant the ones with more ear flex? That's kind of like asking, if I'm going to shoot myself in the foot, should I shoot the big toe or the little toe? There is no good answer. I know we're showing some pretty amazing yields in our fixed flex plots, where we're seeing well over 200 bushel on corn planted at 22,000. But remember, these are picket fence stands planted at 22,000, where each plant gets equal sunlight. Don't expect the same results when you're planting 36,000 to get an ear count of 24. Going back to the original question, which toe should I shoot off? Well, yes, bumping the population a little and using a more flex hybrid may make it a little less painful. On the soybean seed, seeing some of these lower germ scores, yes, I would bump populations and adjust for it. Guys are bumping these 80% germs by 10% to bring those counts back up. With the cooler forecast, extending the time this crop will be in the ground, we need to help it out. Most areas received a little rain, anywhere from a quarter inch up to an inch. Now this rain was light and the soil was dry, so I don't think we're going to see much issues from it as far as the crusting is concerned. But with that said, the pest team needs to be on the watch for soil crust development. Don't wait for these beans to tell you they're having trouble negotiating that surface crust. When that crust starts to develop, take it out when you can still get through it, even if the beans are still a ways from the surface. You know the fields and the soil types that usually give you trouble getting out. Keep those front and center when you're scouting for a surface crust developing. This past week we saw a bump in cutworm moths and in some locations large bumps in armyworm moths. So keep calling in your flight counts. We'll keep track of the GDUs for everyone and keep us up to date on the scouting. A number of you have signed up for the virtual farm visit. Others are asking about it. We have information and a video about the virtual farm visit on our website. So go to the website, croptechinc.com. Look under the service tab for the info in the video. All we need right now is what fields you're signing up for the virtual visit. Our GIS team will gather up all the data layers that we have on those fields, and a crop tech agronomist will be contacting you after we get this crop planted to lock down the deep dive sites in every field. We will need your as applied maps after planting to kind of help guide our technicians. We have 2 full-time positions and some summer intern positions still open here at Crop Tech, and we could use your help in getting them filled. We'll offer you as a credit to your account a $1,000 finder's fee to any customer who recommends a candidate that we hire full-time, and $500 for summer intern. So again, we have 2 full-time positions open. One is administrative assistant. Again, this person will be answering phones and emails and keeping that office running smoothly. And the other is a soil polling technician and a GIS specialist. So again, that'll involve outside work in the spring and the fall with the crews running 4-wheelers and pulling samples, and then you'll be inside working on mapping in the software in the wintertime. The part-time interns, if you have anybody out there that's interested, a college kid interested in learning more about the industry and likes to work outside, they can also send their resumes in. So the resumes can come into management at croptechconsulting.com. You can go to our website and click under current job openings and get more information there as well. The crew got all the early beans planted here at the campus for our Corn Soybean College this summer and our summer field event. Things are looking good for the summer event. Registration is open for the Corn Soybean College. Just go to, again, our website, croptechinc.com. Click on the Corn Soybean College to get registered. An agenda and more information will be posted there as we go along. To stay up to date, check out our website at croptechinc.com and subscribe to our podcast, Boots in the Field Report. Keep her safe, keep her moving.